Owen is kind of one of those things that falls in my category of everything's a miracle or nothing's a miracle.
There are really good musicians. They're technically really, really great, that are fun to listen to, especially if you're really into the technical skill of musician. And then there are entertainers, and sometimes the entertainers don't have that great of a technical skill, but they have a really good stage presence and a really good personality. And I think Owen has that, one of the unique blends of both.
I believe in what he's doing. I see how uncompromising he is with his music and true to his music.
I was like, man, I have to figure out a way to get this guy around me. Just you can tell by his songs, his music, some real positive stuff there.
My family is obsessed with it. It makes you feel good, it makes you relax, it makes you unwind. It's part of what the music is supposed to do, and the amount of feedback that we've gotten has been like nothing we've ever experienced at Seattle.
Well, I was born in Jamaica, the island of Jamaica, and I lived there until I was a teenager, and then my parents moved us to the States. And before that, musically, I did learn piano at the kind of requisite 8-year-old mark, took piano lessons. And my music teacher there actually put together a child band that was called the Children's Workshop, and we'd tour the country, and we were on TV and stuff, playing piano and congas and glockenspiel and all this stuff. And it was cool. We were just covering R&B pop songs. And then I came to the States, and musically there's a long pause after that. I didn't pick up another instrument really until I was 20 years old. So there was a good 7 years off there. And I did that because I was hurt. I had to have surgery. And my dad taught me a few chords on the guitar, which is the one instrument I hadn't been introduced to in Jamaica. It wasn't just love at first play, it was like obsession at first play. And from those few bar chords, I wrote songs right away, and actually wasn't much of a coverer or anything, as like I was writing songs. Real slow gestation for me. And then around the age of 24, I joined my first band. I moved to Boston. I used to describe my style simply as Jamaican-born California folk, but I'm going to add Americana to the list. Now, it was always there, but it's just a little heightened after moving to the South and being influenced by the sounds here more than ever before. What I've found throughout my career is that I show up as much as possible for every gig with my best. And you never know what's going to happen. Like at one time I was playing in Santa Barbara, and Kevin Lyman sought me out after the gig. I had no idea who was in the audience, and that led to the Warped Tour.
Well, I actually, saw Owen, and it was kind of a happenstance. I was at the music conference up in Santa Barbara, and I was kind of wandering around, and I kind of heard about Owen Plant, and kind of my background is I've always loved like reggae, soul, surf sound kind of vibe, chill music, and we wandered into a bar, me and a few friends, and we just kind of set up at a table in the back there, and Owen came up and started playing, and I was like, man, I have to figure out a way to get this guy around me. Just you can tell by his songs, his music, some real positive stuff there. After the show, I think I invited him over to the table and introduced myself, and I said, hey, I really want to get you involved in the Warped Tour. And I said, well, we're doing this acoustic tent and stage, and I think you'd be a great part of it. I said, no, man, you got to bring this guy. He's so chill, and he's going to connect. And I just, it's that gut feeling you get with people. He immediately connected with every artist on the tour. There's that fan at Warped Tour that is looking for something different and unique and something that's important. And that was Owen Plant.
The same thing happened up in Napa Valley, where a guy named Rick Reese came up to me after a performance. He'd actually heard my music from the street and came through to the venue. Him and his wife, Carrie, who are now dear friends and champions of my cause.
I'm Rick Reese, the managing director of Sea Island. I had an amazing experience with Owen Plant. My wife, Carrie, and I were walking down the street of Yachtville in Napa Valley, and as we were walking by a tasting room, we heard the sounds of Owen Plant. And so we went into the tasting room, and out back in the patio, Owen was playing, and we were just taken by his style, by his musicianship, by his sound. He has a unique style in that he has this Jamaican kind of roots, and he also has this California kind of style, and it's a very soothing style. And we ended up creating this artist in residency program, and Owen is the first Sea Island artist in residence, and he's been playing here ever since.
My name is Casey Lavin. I'm a director with the Sea Island Company. Met Owen and Tamar a year ago, a little more than a year ago. It all started when Rick Reese got back from California, said, I got this guy, try him out, see what you think. And he came down and played over at the beach bar, and immediately you realize that this was a different situation. We've graduated into a new caliber of entertaining, and it wasn't just about the Jimmy Buffett and Bob Marley songs. It was about something much more, about an experience, and about something that was real and sincere.
Artists always need supporters. That's how a lot of artists make their way in the world. And I have been so fortunate. I've had a lot of people champion my music in many different ways, and I am very grateful for that.
My name is Vic Ryden. I live here on St. Simon's Island, Georgia. I'm happy to say that Owen Plant is a dear friend of mine. I had the benefit of getting to know Owen first as a person. When I heard his music, it was really interesting to see how he manifests the personal soul and spirit that I know into his music. I'm a product of the 60s and the 70s. Now when I listen to music, I like to go different places with it, and I'm always rotating the music. The other thing that's really cool for me is I have younger children. I have a 13-year-old daughter, a 12-year-old daughter, and a 9-year-old son. And what's really special when we're all together, and I don't prompt this at all, but we're going to school or we're taking a trip, and they're first to turn on the CD and hit Owen, and we can jam together on something that really is neat to be able to transcend the generations and enjoy that with my children. So Owen gives us that special thing as well.
I'm Mac Barnhardt, aka Mac Daddy on the island here. So Owen falls in the category of everything's a miracle or nothing's a miracle. Laying around at the beach club a couple years ago, minding my own business, and I hear this tone coming out of the sky, and I think, what is that? And not knowing there's live music. And so I wander over and see this guy standing on stage, and my first instinct was, here's James Taylor. Why is he not singing all James Taylor songs? He's this good. And so I stand around and I watch him a little more, and I'm thinking, gosh, he's from Jamaica. He's got a lot of reggae feel to it. And it was a flow of music I had not been exposed to in a long time in this day and age of where everybody's copying everybody. And the guy that doesn't like anybody to follow the leader, this guy doesn't follow the leader. This is one of those deals to where how in the world did a guy end up on a little bitty island in South Georgia from California via Jamaica with a sound of a guy from Boston. It's been really cool to have Owen on the island almost full time, and to be able to share him. I've hired him for my company in Jacksonville to come in and sing and to have the responses from the people who attend these parties. And I think this guy's one of the most special talents I've seen in a long time.
And that just happens over and over. I'm not with any label. I've never had a professional, very high-level manager. I've never had a massive PR campaign, but I get out there and play my shows as if there was a stadium in front of me. And a fair amount of people come up to me afterwards and say, hey, I'd like to be a part of this. So that's how things have gone forward. I've recorded a lot of albums in the last 10 years, but I want this next one to be a combination of all the good things I've learned in the studio and with various engineers and producers, and an eye on the prize, for lack of a better word, a real push to be commercial in the best sense of the word. The material is of a quality that deserves to be heard.
I'm walking through the park with a poison in my hand. Up ahead, big commotion, words I cannot understand.